All right, folks, you're live with Lonzo. We are here at the
No, stay here.
Compton Chronicles,
Just
and today I'm also I'm reporting for the Compton Chronicles, but I'm also the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce. One of the things we like to do for the Chamber of Commerce is work with other chambers to see what's going on, see how we can help in any way, form, or fashion. And I met a gentleman a few weeks ago and he's from the Harvard Gateway Chamber of Commerce. His name is Dave Matthews. He's doing some great things in the community. I want to share those things with you right now. Welcome, Dave. How you doing there?
Hey there.
I think everything good?
We're excited to be able to work with you.
Good. I'm glad to work with you as also. I see you doing some great things, starting with Redondo Beach Boulevard over there. Tell us about that.
Well, so we 3 years ago we started to address the kind of the jurisdictional limitations that we have in Harbor Gateway because of the complicated boundaries. So one side of Figueroa is county, one side city, and they weren't working together. And then you throw a freeway in the middle of that, which has its own jurisdiction. And then you throw LADWP in the middle of that with its own jurisdiction. And then you throw the railroad down the middle of our community that has its own jurisdiction. So we really had to bring everybody to the table and say, how can we all work together and utilize all these amazing resources to solve the issues? So it took us a good year and a half to get everybody on board and start working. So Figueroa was the first street that we started to address. I don't know if you remember, but about 3 years ago, we had 284 RVs lined up on Figueroa from Alondra Boulevard all the way to El Segundo.
Wow.
And we had a lot of crime. It was bad. So we worked with the city and every single business, and we came up with the option of no street parking along Figueroa. So all businesses agreed to the no street parking, which then enabled us to start tackling the RV population. So we spent 6 months with homeless outreach, working together to make sure that everybody knew what was coming. So nobody was displaced right off the bat. We offered housing. We offered services. We offered whatever resources were available. Some people took it, some people didn't. But that's kind of how we learned how kind of the street laws with the RVs. But Figueroa has seen a decrease in crime by 94%.
Wow.
Because of the removal of the RVs. So we knew there was a connection. So that's kind of what we focused on. Now we're expanding into the unincorporated areas, the Broadway corridor, Redondo Beach corridor, Main Street. Those areas right now are seeing a huge increase in crime, and that crime is coming into the city side, and also into the city of Gardena. So we're laser focused right now to try to make sure that the criminal element is aware that we're all working together. So now we have 3 sheriff agencies: Century, Compton, Carson, South Los Angeles, and then the sheriff's host team. We're all working together to try to tackle the chronic situation with these RVs that are currently in the unincorporated areas.
I know this is the RVs are directly related to the homeless situation. How does if you find out a mental illness, or just people just don't have the money to rent an apartment anymore? What do you find the main reason for people living in the RVs?
It's complicated with the RVs. Say that. I think the biggest thing right now is the RVs. The majority of the RVs are owned by 4 people, and they're being rented out to the homeless. So we have an issue with RVs that don't have registration.
You're saying the RVs are owned by 4 people and being rented to the homeless people. I just want to make sure that was clear.
Correct.
Wow. Do you know who these 4 people are? Do you know who these 4 people are?
We can identify them.
Okay, we're not going to talk about it right now, but that is interesting. Keep going.
It's very enlightening when you're on the streets doing this work. So the issue with the rental of the RVs is that the RVs are unregistered, There's no insurance. Nothing works inside of the RV. Most of the RVs don't have a VIN, so you can't even track them back to who the owner is. So imagine that you're spending anywhere from $200 to $600 a month to live on a street, and you have nothing working. And then we're upset. The community's upset because of the mess.
Right.
But they're simply trying to survive. They're, they are buying it, that are paying their rent. And then you have an outside group coming in and charging a safety fee.
Wait, a
So
safety
it's
fee?
double tax on someone that's living on our street. Yeah.
You have a safety fee for the homeless. How much is it?
It's not free to be homeless. I will that.
Are these gangs or just
Runs about the railroad, the freeway, a sidewalk, you're paying someone.
Huh? See, there's a side to this thing that nobody knows about. You touched on this before, and that's why we're having this show today, because it's a lot of underhanded. It's bad enough to be homeless, but to be extorted while you're homeless is a whole nother situation. What's the reason for all the fires, all the campers burning up? I see a lot of mobile homes just burnt up. I mean, is that a part of that as well?
Well, right now we have an arsonist in the unincorporated area that's setting them on fire. So we're not sure why he's doing it. Everyone is out looking for him. But we were told that when an RV when you don't pay your rent on time, because there's no value to the RV, it's easier just to burn it up and get you out. There's no late fees. The late fee is your RV gets burned up. The issue with the burned up RVs is the millions of dollars in damage to the infrastructure. And that's where I think the community isn't seeing that connection, because we've had 150 fires since January. 150 RV fires have been set. And all those fires, all that chemicals, all the debris, it goes into Dominguez Chamber. All the some of these RVs have fiberglass, which has asbestos.
Right.
And that goes into our environment. Not to mention the other, there's a lot of other activities that are going on the streets within the business areas, and I think that's where we've got to protect the business areas, because it's kind of the hub. Right. Because it fans out into the residential areas. So whatever's going on in the business area is going to eventually get into the residential areas. It is the way we've watched it.
Wow, this is amazing, dude. I mean, I had no idea. I thought it was just people just down on their luck, living in the RV, because that's the best they could do right now until they get something else going on. But again, like I kept noticing with more and more fires, I'm like, are they really that careless? But now that you say that, maybe you think it might be a vigilante type person that just want the homeless out of there and think he's doing a good job by burning them out?
It's not a vigilante.
Okay.
It's not a vigilante. It's a guy on a bike. He's homeless himself. It's probably a mental health issue. There's something there. We're actually seeing we've had 39 fires along the 105 110 freeway that interchange. We're having almost a fire every day, and the concern for us is it's not being tracked, because you have a city entity, you have a county entity, you have different agencies, so no one's tracking the fires. Okay. Because if it happens in the city, it's not reported to the county. And we need to make sure that reporting element, all these RV fires are not being reported to the elected officials. They don't know. Reporting it, we report once a week. We report to Holly Mitchell's office. We do live reporting to her, but we let all the elected leaders know when the fires are going up in their areas. You just had a fire. Infrastructure was just impacted. But if we weren't doing that, there's no reporting. The system that isn't built. Fire department doesn't send the county, you had a fire. They don't get that.
Wait a minute. I thought all
for
fires...
unincorporated area right now, that's the focus.
Oh, okay. I thought all fires were reported at some point in time. I mean, I don't understand that. Help me understand.
They're reported to the fire department, but
okay.
It
Oh,
doesn't go to unless it's deemed arson.
okay.
The arson team has to come out within 24 hours. Otherwise, it's considered a dirty arson scene. They can't investigate.
Okay.
So the arson, when fire department goes out there and puts the fire out, they have to determine right then and there if it was arson. And then you have to get an arson team out to come out and check it. It doesn't always happen.
Okay. There's been no deaths involved in this, has it?
No. Fortunately, we have not seen any deaths. I think we've had one, if I remember correctly, back in February.
Okay. All right. Now, why don't
animals die?
Why don't we change the? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Why don't we change the zoning laws for parking? What would that affect? Would that help any?
Well, we worked with Mitchell. We worked with Holly Mitchell's office and the sheriff's team to work. There was a recent motion passed for the RV encampment protocols. So now they're setting protocols in place that can address the RV situation. And really, what is a legal RV? When is it considered not really a vehicle? If there's no motor in it and there's no VIN, is it technically an RV? Should it be on a street without being registered?
Okay.
If there's no ownership, how can you say that that it should be deemed safe? Right. And so that's right now they're in the middle of setting that up. The DMV actually has a special street task force that came out and has assisted with the CHP and with the sheriff to help with the removal of some of the RVs. We've been able to we've got some great success stories with the removal of the ones that we knew needed to go.
Okay. So the ones that are still there, they're technically mobile homes, VIN numbers, motors. They probably run, or they have license plates on.
Currently we have 341 RVs on the unincorporated area.
Wow!
And I would say out of that 341 RVs currently on the streets, less than 20% are actual registered and have VINs and the proper documents.
Okay. Now they park in these areas because because they allow overnight truck parking, right? I mean, that's kind of the loophole.
No.
Okay.
There's no enforcement in these areas. The unincorporators have zero enforcement. Even if you have street sweeping signs posted, there's no street sweeping. So there's very little enforcement.
Now that's just oversight, lack of manpower, just don't care. What you think?
I think part of it is when COVID hit, we had the COVID protocols come in where you could not remove anybody that was in an RV or any living passenger vehicle. Right. You couldn't remove them. So you had to leave them. Those protocols are still in place. So that started it. But prior to that, these areas didn't have regularly scheduled cleanups or regularly scheduled enforcement. And I think that's where when you kind of let an area go, this is kind of what you're going to get. Now we're trying to bring the resources back, but it's a slow process.
I know I passed by the other day after I talked to you, and I saw a skip loader and a couple of dump trucks out there cleaning some stuff up. And I got video of it, but I couldn't play it for some reason. Just like your video is kind of moving a little choppy right now. And for some reason, I have 32 comments in my chat room. I can't open up to see what they're saying. For some reason, it's not working, but hopefully I get to them. But nonetheless, man, you're doing a great job out there. What else? What can the public do to help?
The biggest thing right now is to request homeless outreach for every single person on the streets.
Okay. So this is
you go to la-hop.org.
Okay.
Have them requested every day. We just left an area where LAPD called us this morning asking us for help because a gentleman was ready for services. So we were able to get an outreach team out there right now to help him. So we have the resources, but we need the community's help to report and request. Every RV that's in the unincorporated area had resources and services and outreach offered, but we need to keep that pressure up. Anyone on a street, anyone by the freeway, anyone on the railroad, request those services, because that's the biggest thing we can do to have them. Create that relationship, get the process started. Don't give them food, don't give them money, because the outreach teams will bring that. They'll bring them food, they'll start the dialogue, and then they can do the assessments to figure out what it is that person needs on the street.
Okay.
And it might not seem like it's enough, but that's really the first step.
Okay. So this whole thing has been done
and
with.
And then obviously, the other big thing is the illegal dumping, all the graffiti. If you can report that using the free resources.
Okay. The illegal
You're
dumping.
breaking up. Say that again.
I said the illegal dumping drives me nuts. Somebody parked an open refrigerator on my street. Right. Hoover. Somebody dropped a refrigerator with the doors off in the middle of the street. Just left it there. They finally came and got it, but it's just ridiculous how they do it sometimes, or how we allow ourselves to be done. But I appreciate what you're saying, Dave. It makes a lot of sense. We have to force people to do their jobs. They have jobs to get done, and we have to make sure they do them.
Well, if we're not requesting it, they're not going to know.
Right.
And you live in Harbor Gateway.
Yes, I do.
They don't even know if we mention Harbor Gateway to the electeds or anybody. Most people don't even know who Harbor Gateway is.
Right.
So it's up to us to at least do the initial report.
Okay. Define the Harbor Gateway for our audience right quick. What are our boundaries?
So our boundaries. So Harbor Gateway, we run from Imperial House. Well, okay, it gets a little weird here.
Okay.
We start so Harbor Gateway North, I'll do that because that's what we're talking about. From the 91 freeway between Vermont and Figueroa. So we're on the we're on the east side of Vermont. We run all the way up to 110th Street. Then we cut across 110th to Figueroa.
Okay.
Go to the 110 freeway. We cut down. Then we run along Imperial to Central. This is how crazy it gets. You go to Central, then you go to 120th, and we actually are on both sides of 120th, back to Fig. And then we are on the... Okay, it gets really complicated here. We run along both sides of Figueroa between 120th and 1. However, we only, on the east side of Fig, the city is only the first 13 feet. So we're the sidewalk and the parking lot. And then it becomes unincorporated LA County on the east of Fig. It's really complicated. And that's why services often don't get to where they need to go. No one knows who it belongs to.
Wow.
I'll send a map with you that we drew to show the complicated boundary.
Please. I definitely live.
When you say
it's crazy. It sounds crazy, Dave. 13 feet could determine whether you live in the city or the county.
Yep. And then if you really want to get fun, you're in Athens on the Hill, right?
Right.
Okay, so the Caltrans areas that run along the sides, like on Fig, and I think it's Hoover, Estrella, you've got Caltrans area, the easements.
Right.
So if you look where the curbs are next to Caltrans, where the retaining walls are,
okay,
some of those areas, the city has only the first foot, and the rest between the dirt area between the retaining wall and the curb belongs to Caltrans. So if you have garbage that's in the city and Caltrans, you have to do 2 reports, because when the city comes out, they're only going to clean their foot. And then everything after that foot goes to Caltrans. That's how crazy it is. These guys, we often go out there. What's that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I just comment. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, please.
No, so sometimes we'll go out and put stuff into whatever jurisdiction that's going to get out there the quickest. Because sometimes it's easier to do that, because instead of doing 2 reports for the same area, because someday you'll have to report it to Caltrains and to LA to 311 because it's two jurisdictions. That's where it gets complicated for us.
Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. Let us see your team again, Dave. I see you have Fabiola and Craig working with you.
Fabiola Robles.
Hi there.
You know, I don't see you on
This
camera,
is Craig
but
Kusanowski.
I hear you, but I don't see you, but that's okay. Dave is a little frozen right now.
I'm right here.
I hear your voice, but you're a little frozen on camera, but it's okay. But Dave, man, there you go. There you go. The whole team there, folks. The Harbor Gateway Chamber of Commerce.
We're all here.
There you go, folks. I'm looking forward to working with you more, Dave. We'll be doing more shows about what your progress. Keep us informed on everything you got going. This is amazing, man. I had no idea that the homeless situation was so complicated, that the city was so complicated. The county is so complicated. You're dealing with about you're dealing with the LA County, LA City, and Gardena, if I'm not mistaken. And Caltrans.
And the railroad and LADWP. They all have their own agencies.
Wow.
So yeah, exactly. More people to the party is what I say.
Wow, that's a hell of a party, dude. That's a hell of a party. Well, next question: how's the progress? When I met you, they were talking about the big corner right there on Vermont and Redondo Beach Boulevard, that old desk factory. What's the progress on that?
The old electric cord.
Right.
Right now the developer is the lot is currently owned by a private individual in Texas, and it's being leased by Walmart and sublet to Prologis. Prologis has done Prologis would like to build a warehouse there.
Okay.
And will be the largest single project that our community will ever have. There's details on it. I can provide you with all the details. The issue with that particular lot is it's been vacant 21 years.
Right.
Every development that's tried to go in, the community hasn't been happy with. They've got somebody who's committed to keeping us safe. They've helped us with our homeless. That particular lot 3 years ago was our single largest homeless encampment.
Okay.
We had about 100 people living on there, and we got involved. Well, we got involved there. We had a child who bought drugs and overdosed and died on 149th Street, right by the park. And the family was living in an RV, 3 RVs up on 135th and Figueroa.
Okay.
And I'll never forget that. And I could not understand how we could allow people to be on a lot and not address it. So the neighbor council at the time, I'd gone to them and I was told to stay away from that lot, not to get involved. But I knew that our only park is right there. The kids go to that park. Why are we not protecting these children?
Right.
So I ended up contacting the owner and then getting everyone together. And it took us almost 8 months to clean it up. But we were able to get Prologis to come in and provide 24-hour security, which we've had for the last 3 years. So there's a strong commitment to our community. Prologis has helped us with housing of the homeless, the families. Last year, we took 10 families out of the RVs and we housed them until they could get into their permanent housing through St. Joseph Center. Starbucks became a great partner and hired a bulk of homeless that were ready, that needed jobs and opportunity. So I think that as far as I'm concerned, Prologis has shown their commitment to our community and willing to do whatever is necessary to help protect us. And I wish that the community, we don't have a backup plan. There's no magic white there's no white waiting in the woods to tell us what they're going to do on that lot. Okay. If it were, we would have heard by now. But you've got a company that's willing to invest in our community, invest in us, and give us resources, which we all know we don't have.
Right.
And we can't even sit down at a table. And then you've got outside groups that want to come in and tell us what we want in our neighborhoods. I don't need somebody from Palos Verdes coming to my community and telling me how we should live. And I don't think you guys would want that. Do you want somebody from Santa Monica or Pasadena to come in and tell you how to live in Harbor Gateway?
No,
if you're not living here, you don't know what it's like.
Right.
And we're on a ticking time bomb on that lot because of the soil contamination. The EPA is coming out every month. They've been doing it for 3 years, checking the groundwater.
Okay.
Every month they're out. What do you do? That groundwater is contaminated. And that's what I wish people would come to the table and let's talk about what it is that we want for our community. This Prologis project will be the single largest project that will be a game changer for us. And if we go to other areas where Prologis is at, you're going to see what they've done in the neighborhoods.
Okay. Prologis. They want to.
But I want the community to learn. There's good and bad. There's definitely good, positives, and negatives.
Right. To anything. Okay. So Prologis wants to build a warehouse, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Sounds like job.
It'll be the first it'll prototype for future. There'll be jobs.
Okay. Will they be guaranteeing residential jobs or just? I know Inglewood has a thing where so many jobs for different construction situations Inglewood residents have first priority if they qualify. Would something like that be in place? Do you have any idea about that?
I believe whatever we ask, they will do.
Okay.
I believe in what they've done so far in the last 3 years that I've worked with them on the streets. And I know right now we're focused on Rosecrans Park. There's going to be some new fencing, some new lighting to protect those children around that park. It's been long overdue because of the homeless situation that is rampant along that railroad area.
Right.
So we're out there every day, but we've communicated to Prologis for new fencing, some new lighting, and some new paths for the park to upgrade it and keep those kids safe.
Okay.
We've had the park patrol. We've had the mounted horse police there because of Prologis. So we know that the resources they can be the link to help us. The resources for this community.
Interesting. Well, Dave, man, you're doing a great job out here. I'm glad I was able to meet you. Thanks, Mama Boo, for hooking us up. I'm a wrap this.
Absolutely. Just every Saturday. Let me just say this: every Saturday we do.
You broke up. Do it again.
Every Saturday we've been doing community cleanups for the last 2 years.
Okay.
So we get dumpsters donated and we go into areas that need to be cleaned up. So we are working with the schools now. Starting October, the first Saturday of every month, we'll be cleaning up around the schools, and the kids are getting involved.
Okay. That's good. That's a great thing. In fact,
there's no more excuses for dirty streets.
Right. I'm doing a thing. Compton is doing a big cleanup this weekend as well. I'll be out covering that as well. And we need to talk about that. We may need some help for it over in Compton as well, getting some dumpsters, whatever the case may be. Dave, man, it's great to know you, Doc. I appreciate the connection. I appreciate your work you're doing out there, because I drive
thanks for the time.
all the time, man. And I'm seeing an improvement.
Come out and join us.
What time you do?
Come out and join us anytime you see the
You got it.
We usually start about 8:30 and 9.
Okay.
Every Monday we start at Rosecrans Park at 8:45. So if you want to come join us, we'll have homeless outreach there every Monday.
That'll work. You got it, Dave. Thank you very much, man, for coming through. You're definitely coming back. We're gonna get a better video connection on you so we can see all the things that you're doing over there. And tell your team I said thanks for coming through, and much love to you, Doc. And I'll be seeing you in the future.
Guys, come on in. Say goodbye.
Come on.
Thanks for everything.
You're welcome, dude. We will be back. We'll be supporting you any way we possibly can.
Take care.
All right, have a good one now. Thank you very much, folks.
All right.
All right,
thanks
peace.
for the time. Bye.
You got it.